Hey everyone, Melissa Deely here, back with day 9 of my gut health series. And as an integrative health practitioner, I have been talking all of the month of September about gut health. It is a very common issue in today's world that people struggle with digestion, struggle with the health of their gut. Is it imbalanced or not? And discomfort around eating food, which is a problem because we all need to eat for energy, and food is very often something that we enjoy with family and friends. And when you're one of those people that struggles with a limited array of food that you can eat, everything else becomes difficult because you're always having to think, if I accept that invitation, will I be able to eat the food? You might even be having to think about going out, and will there be a bathroom nearby after you eat if you're going out for a day hiking or something like that. And it starts to take over your life. But the great thing is that when you look to holistic healing, we can truly test to see what is going on inside your body, why you might be struggling with not being able to eat food, and figure it out for you. And very often it comes down to food intolerances. And people tell me, but I don't have any intolerances. And yet they believe that because they've eaten those foods all of their life. But the tricky thing is with food intolerance is that the body's symptoms typically show up 24 to 72 hours later, by which time you don't really remember what you ate 2 or 3 days ago. And secondly, your body gets to a tipping point where if your trash cans that I've talked about lots of times are overflowing, your body might have been able to tolerate the food previously, but now that your trash cans are overflowing, your body is balking at you and saying, don't put any more of that in. And that is really common. So you can do food sensitivity testing, and it's really easy to do. It gets shipped to your home. You'll get a box, a package like this with everything inside the box. You get instructions on how to do everything, and there's even videos on how to take the blood sample, which is really easy to do as well. You just prick your finger with this. They provide the Band-Aid, the gauze, the alcoholic swab to make sure it's clean, and then you massage the blood down to the end of your finger until it's a big drop hanging off your finger, and you're going to drop it onto these little circles on this blood spot collection card. And then you simply package it up, put this in, you let this dry off for at least 30 minutes, and you package it up and mail it back to the lab. And about 4 weeks later, I get your results, and they look something like this. And there's quite a few pages of them because we now test for over 190 different foods. And these are my results that I just did. And it was really fascinating to see because I've eaten dairy all of my life, and I didn't know that I had an intolerance to casein as well as cow's milk and yogurt. But good news is that I love goat's cheese, and I don't have an intolerance to that. And I'm okay with cheddar cheese as well. But my results were really clear because I work hard to look after my health and my gut, and I listen to my body. But there's so many people that just don't know and just don't realize they're busy raising kids and working hard and just trying to get through every day. And they don't stop to think about the food that they ate 3 days ago and how it's making them feel today. Brain fog, fatigue, it could be skin rashes, it could be allergies, it could even be asthma sometimes. So understanding what is happening inside your gut when it's trying to digest foods that your body doesn't like is really important, because every time you put food in that it doesn't like, it triggers inflammation. And we don't want that, because inflammation that gets triggered triggers genes to turn on that for disease that you might be predisposed to. Whereas when we don't have the inflammation, those genes don't get triggered. So that leads me into omega-3 testing, which is also a very similar blood spot test. It's going to come in a box just like this with all of the information to do the same blood spot card samples that I just showed you, and test what your omega-3 levels versus your omega-6 levels are. And I talked about that last week and mentioned how easy it is for us to get omega-6s in our diet in this day and age, but much harder to get omega-3s, and that we are very often out of balance. When you see your results from the lab test, you'll know exactly how they are in balance or not for you, And then we can create a wellness protocol to help you bring your body back into balance through supplementation and maybe changing the diet to more fish. And what that does is just by bringing your body into balance on your omega-3/6 ratio is hugely powerful in being proactive in your health. Because when you're in balance, that alone reduces your risk of sudden heart attack or cardiac arrest by 90%. That's massive. So if you knew how you could reduce that risk, why not run that test to see where you're at, to get a wellness protocol in order to bring your body back into balance? And sometimes it's not enough to just go to Walmart or Costco and buy omega-3s, because what we really need to know is, do you need more EPA than DHA, or do you need more DHA than EPA? And what are the right functional medicine supplements that truly work in order to bring your body into balance? So that's a really awesome test. And then the food sensitivity test also helps with reducing inflammation as well. And when we get those results, we look at a wellness protocol for you too, which is looking at removing foods, not forever, so don't panic. I know changing diets is hard. You've eaten a certain way your whole life, and then I'm asking you to change it. But we're going to remove foods that you're somewhat sensitive to for 6 weeks, moderately sensitive to for 12 weeks, and then a high sensitivity we're going to remove for 6 months. And once we get your body's inflammation down and we clean up your gut, we can start reintroducing some of those foods, and maybe you'll be able to tolerate the foods that we took out for 6 weeks. Maybe those high tolerance foods you're only going to be able to tolerate once a month, but that's the process that we go through to clean up your gut, lower those food insensitivities, as well as lowering your inflammation. And as we go through that process, I provide you recipes and meal plans and shopping lists to help you make those changes so that it's not a huge, complicated process for you. I guide your hand through it so that you feel really supported. So if you yourself is struggling and would like to do some food sensitivity testing, or maybe it's omega-3 testing, or you know someone that this could be useful for, please share this video with them, or click on my website, betterbrainhealth.info, work with me, and book a complimentary 30-minute consultation so that we can figure out the next best steps for you and your personal healing program. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope this information is helpful to you.